友善公益是成都外化旅行的文化表达。成都厚积千年的文化温度，透射出天府文化的澎湃力量，成为成都历久弥新的人文魅力。天府成都，一座来了就不想离开的城市。
成都。
尊敬的各位来宾，本次会议即将开始，将手机等通讯设备关闭或置于静音状态。谢谢您的合作。
Ladies and gentlemen, the event will begin shortly. We would like to remind you again to switch off all mobile phones and put electronic devices to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation.
尊敬的各位来宾，本次会议即将开始，将手机等通讯设备关闭或置于静音状态。谢谢您的合作。
Ladies and gentlemen, the event will begin shortly. We would like to remind you again to switch off all mobile phones and put electronic devices to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation.
各位来宾，第16届中国欧盟投资贸易科技合作洽谈会开幕式即将开始，有请成都市人民政府秘书长周先义先生主持。Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony of the 16th EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair is about to begin. Now, let's welcome Mr. Zhou Xianyi, the Secretary General of Chengdu Municipal People's Government.
尊敬的杜尚贝拉大使、马晓丽副主席、张明大使、柯良栋副会长、王凤朝市长、各位领导、各位嘉宾、女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家上午好。欧洽会自落户成都以来，已成功举办了15届，并发展成为欧盟成员国参与最多、欧方企业参与最广泛、中欧交流规模最大的合作的盛会之一。今天，第16届欧洽会如期举办，由中国国际商会和中国欧盟商会共同主办，成都市贸促会、成都市高新区管委会、成都国际商会承办，得到了外交部、商务部、中国贸促会、中国驻欧盟使团等中方有关部门的精心指导，以及欧盟中小企业中心、欧盟中国商会等欧方有关机构的大力支持，将进一步促进中国与欧洲各国的友好往来，为中欧企业之间搭建起更加务实的交流合作平台。首先，请允许我介绍出席今天开幕式的主要领导和嘉宾：斯洛伐克驻华大使馆特命全权大使杜尚贝拉先生，中国欧盟商会全国副主席马晓丽先生，中国国际商贸促进会委员会副会长柯良栋先生，商务部欧洲司司长翟谦先生，外交部欧洲司参赞刘玉丽女士，中国国际商会副秘书长张毅女士，中国社会科学院欧洲研究所所长冯仲平先生，成都市人民政府市长王凤朝先生，成都市委常委、市政府党组成员刘小柳女士。出席今天开幕式的还有来自德国、法国、意大利、荷兰、丹麦、瑞典、拉脱维亚、希腊、英国等国家的驻华使节、贸易投资促进机构、世界知名企业代表、国内20多个省市区的贸促系统和企业界代表、成都市相关区县和部门的有关负责同志，让我们以热烈的掌声对各位领导、各位嘉宾的到来表示热烈的欢迎。下面有请成都市委常委、市政府党组成员刘小柳女士之欢迎词。
尊敬的杜尚贝拉大使，尊敬的马晓丽副主席、张明大使、柯良栋副会长、王凤朝市长，各位领导、各位嘉宾、女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家上午好！非常高兴与新老朋友们相聚蓉城，共同迎来第16届中国欧盟投资贸易和科技合作洽谈会的隆重开幕。受成都市人民政府市长王凤朝先生委托，我仅代表成都市委市政府向出席本次大会的 各位嘉宾表示热烈的欢迎，向长期以来关心支持成都发展的各界朋友表示衷心的感谢。成都历史文化悠久，是全国重要的经济中心、科技中心、金融中心、文创中心、对外交往中心和国际综合交通通信枢纽，是中国重要的现代产业和高新技术产业基地，也是距离欧洲最近的中国的国家中心城市。近年来，成都对欧交流往来频繁，合作硕果累累。8个欧洲国家获批在蓉设立领事机构，42个欧洲城市与成都结好，19条直飞欧洲的客货运航线始发于成都，连接65个欧洲城市的中欧班列将成都乃至中国西部与欧洲各国紧密相连。中法、中德、中意国别园区与中国欧洲中心等对欧合作载体平台聚集的优势初步彰显。
To China-Europe Center to learn about the construction of Chengdu's international business environment and interacted with the representatives of European enterprises in Chengdu, encouraging Chengdu to further expand economic and trade exchange and cooperation with Europe, which has further strengthened Chengdu's resolution to open to the outside world and injected strong impetus to build a strong and larger platform for cooperation. The EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair is a very important platform for the cooperation between China and the EU, and it has been successfully held for 15 sessions, attracting more than 11,000 Chinese and European enterprises to participate in the fair, reaching more than 3,100 international cooperation agreements, making it the largest economic and trade event with the broadest participation of EU member states. This year, with the theme of China's new development and EU's new opportunities, focus on the investment, scientific and technology innovation, pay carbon dioxide emission, and carbon neutrality and other areas. It will scale the China-EU economic trade cooperation to a new high. Currently, Chengdu is implementing the practice of building a park city and attracting global innovative resources, deepen international scientific and technology cooperation, actively exploring the development path of digital enabling city of low carbon life, striving to build a new pattern of all-round and multi-leveled comprehensive opening. We earnestly hope that the leaders and distinguished guests will provide more guidance for Chengdu to speed up the construction of national cooperation platform. We also sincerely hope that the vast number of enterprises will lay out more new projects in Chengdu. We will continuously create a market-oriented, rural law and the international business environment, continue to provide the best quality, most efficient, and the most convenient service guarantee for everyone. And we sincerely invite all leaders and distinguished guests to visit Chengdu, enjoy the beautiful scenery, taste the authentic food, and experience the unique charm of Chengdu, a park under the snow-capped mountain. I wish the conference a complete success. Thank you.
Thank you, Madame Liu's wonderful remarks. Next, let's give floor to Mr. Ke Liangdong, the Vice Chairman of CCPIT. Mr. Ke Liangdong, the floor is yours. Honorable Mr. Wang Fengchao, the Mayor of Chengdu Municipal People's Government, Ambassador Dusan Bella, and the Vice President Massimo. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good morning. Today, the 16th EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair is grandly opened here. Entrusted by Ms. Gao Yan, the President of CCPIT and the CCOSA, I'd like to extend the warmest welcome to all the distinguished guests present online and offline, and express my heartfelt thanks to the support from the Chengdu Municipal Government and the European Union Chamber of Commerce in China. Thank you for your support. After 15 years of development and fostering, the EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair has been expanding in scale and size. And by the year of 2020, more than 11,000 Chinese and European enterprises had participated in the fair, and 29,000 matchmaking meetings were held for negotiation, and reaching more than 3,100 intentional cooperation agreements. And it has played a very unique role in terms of deepening the exchange between China and Europe in various fields, and promoting the trade and investment cooperation has become the largest investment and trade fair for the European member states, the European enterprises, and China and Europe. It has become the very important visiting card for Chengdu to opening up and the cooperation, with the theme of the China new opportunity and the new opportunity for Europe. Around 2,000 Chinese and foreign guests will attend the fair online and offline. In the meantime, a number of the sub-forums, including the Green Energy Forum and the first Chengdu China EU Geographical Indication Cooperation Conference, will be also held, revolving around the hot topics regarding the EU and the China development to carry out this session. We are hoping you can take this opportunity to communicate frankly, explore the business opportunities, enhance consensus, and strive to achieve the more pragmatic cooperation results. And at present, the centennial change and epidemics are intertwined. The globalization and the multilateral trading systems are facing a very massive challenge. The President Xi Jinping stressed that the China-EU cooperation can be a very significant event, and the China and the EU are, as the very important economic and trade partners, with a very strong economic complementarity and a great potential for cooperation. In the year of 2020, China firstly became the EU's largest trading partner. And in the first half of this year, the bilateral trade volume between China and the EU was around 2.52 trillion RMB, a year-on-year increase of 26.7%. And the China-EU trade accounted for about 13.9% of China's total foreign trade volume. And the EU is China's second largest trading partner, which fully demonstrates that China and the EU are important and stable forces for the prosperity and development of the world. The bilateral economic and trade cooperation has strong resilience and a great potential. At the end of last year, the negotiation of the EU-China Comprehensive Agreement on Investments was completed on schedule. We are very much looking forward to the formal signing and entry into force of the agreement as soon as possible, so as to benefit the enterprises and people from China and European countries as early as possible. China's industries and the commercial communities are willing to join hands with the European markets and the counterparts to continue to safeguard the multilateral trading systems based on the rules and promote the liberalization and the facilitation of the global trade and investment, and consolidate confidence of the international community in economic globalization and free trade, and jointly help the economic recovery and development of the Europe and China, and to make very important contributions to the construction of the open world economy from the China and the EU side. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, in the face of the new situation of increasing uncertainties and instability, China will continue to unswervingly expand its opening up to the outside world and fulfill its commitment to opening up with the practical actions. The President Xi Jinping emphasized that we will adhere to open cooperation and win-win outcomes, and further improve the level of openness, expand the cooperation space, and sharing the development opportunities, and jointly promote the recovery and the growth of the world economy. And has once again released a very strong signal to the world that China will continue to promote reform and development through the opening up. And it has also pointed out a direction for the industry and the commercial communities of the various countries to further deepen their cooperations with China. The CCPIT, connecting the government and enterprises, connecting the internal and external community, and connecting the supply and the demand, and it's a very significant force to smooth the domestic circular and connect the domestic international double circularity, and plays a very important role as well. And we have established the around 391 multilateral industry and commercial, multilateral and bilateral industry and commercial cooperation mechanisms with more than 340 trade and investment promotion agencies and the multilateral international organizations in relevant countries and regions, forming a global institutionalized cooperation network with 270,000 member enterprises. The CCPIT is one of the most influential foreign-related chamber of commerce organization in China. We will actively forge ahead with the high-quality development of the investment cooperation with European countries and boosting the cooperation between China and European enterprises in the field of the intelligent manufacturing, green energy, digital culture, creativity industry, and the service trade. We are willing to continue to strengthen cooperation with the relevant authorities from Sichuan province, from Chengdu, and make greater contributions to promoting the recovery and development of the international economic and trade cooperation. Finally, I'd like to wish the great success of the fair. Thank you.
Thanks to Vice Chairperson Ke Liangdong. Next, please welcome Mr. Zhang Ming, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Chinese Mission to the EU. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, on behalf of the Chinese mission to the EU, I would like to warmly congratulate the grand opening of the 16th China-EU Business and Technology Cooperation Fair. And I would like to extend my sincere cordial greetings to all the distinguished guests present this conference. The sowing in spring would bring harvest in autumn. After years of development, the EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair has become one of the largest investment, trade, and technology innovation cooperation events with the broadest participation of EU member states, EU enterprises between China and the EU. It also serves as a window for Chengdu and even Western China to open and cooperate with Europe. It plays an increasingly important role in promoting the internationalization of the enterprises in Western China and promoting economic and technological exchange and cooperation between countries and the regions. In this bumper harvest season, the EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair is once again held. It will inject new vitality into China-EU economic and trade relations and push the bilateral cooperation to a new high. Since the outbreak of the COVID-19 epidemic, the global economy and the international economic and trade exchange have faced severe challenges, but China-EU trade and investment has shown strong resilience and maintained stable and strong development. Last year, China-EU trade grew in both directions against the epidemic, with bilateral trade volume reaching 649.53 billion, up 4.9% year-on-year. China has also become the largest trading partner of the EU for the first time. From January to July this year, the bilateral trade volume between China and EU reached 457.42 billion, an increase of 33.9% year-on-year, and China continued to maintain its position as the EU's largest trading partner. And the same period, the EU's actual investment in China was 3.01 billion USD, up 10.9%. And the total actual investment in China exceeded 120 billion USD. China's direct investment in EU was 3.75 billion USD, up 86.1%. The China-EU trend of Unicom Eurasia has increasingly favored the concern by Chinese and the European enterprises consumers. Now, from January to August this year, a total of 10,030 trains were opened and 964,000 containers were sent, up by 32% and 40% respectively. Not long ago, the 2021 Business Confidence Survey released by the UCCC showed that since the epidemic, the Chinese market has become the most safe haven for European enterprises. The most European enterprises in China are willing to continue to settle in China and are full of confidence and expectation for the development prospects in China. These figures and examples all show that as major forces, two major markets and two major civilizations in the world, as long as China and the EU adhere to equality and mutual benefits, open cooperation, multilateralism, and dialogue and consultation, they can expand their common interest in cooperation and solve problems. And China-EU relations and pragmatic economic trade cooperation will usher in a brighter future and contribute more to the global economic recovery. There's no reason why we should not stick to the right path and do beneficial things for ourselves and to the world. China's development cannot be separated by the world, and the prosperity of the world also needs China. This year, China began to implement the 14th five-year plan for economic and social development and started a new journey of building a socialist modernized country in an all-round way. From the EU perspective, the large-scale recovery plan is also unfolding. In new stages, China is constantly introducing new measures of reform and opening up. We also hope the EU will stick to the correct direction, and the relevant policies will help to expand the mutual beneficial cooperation. China and EU are moving in the same direction, which is needed and which is beneficial for the people's livelihood and welfare of both sides, and the social development and the global peace and development and prosperity. In a few days will be traditional Chinese festival Mid-Autumn Day, which means harvest, beauty, and perfection. An occasion of as the Mid-Autumn Festival is approaching, I sincerely wish the 16th EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair a complete success. The Western region is becoming a new frontier of China's opening to the outside world and a new hinterland for economic and technological exchange and cooperation between China and EU. I wish the European enterprise will make the most out of the economic development in Western China, creating more business opportunities for greater achievements. The Chinese mission to European Union will, as always, actively serve the opening up of the Western region and make our efforts for the double prosperity, the material life and the spiritual life of people of all ethnic groups. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ambassador Zhang Ming's remarks. Next, let's give floor to His Excellency Dusan Bella, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Slovak Embassy in China.
Honorable Mayor Wang Fengchao, distinguished leaders, dear ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me to this EU-China business platform, which is a very good, Thank you for inviting me to this EU-China Business Technology Cooperation Fair, which is a very good platform for exchanging views on issues of mutual interests like trade, investment, digital economy, smart energy, and green development, as well as an excellent opportunity for matchmaking between European and Chinese companies. For Slovakia, as a member of the European Union, are crucial economic and trade relations between the EU and China. The European Union and China are two of the biggest traders in the world, which trade on average over €1 billion a day. The European Union and China are committed to a comprehensive strategic partnership as expressed in the EU-China 2020 strategic agenda on cooperation. The year 2020 was relatively successful and productive for EU-China relations, albeit overall affected by COVID-19. Last year, on 6 May 2020, we jointly commemorated the 45th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the EU and China. Over the past 46 years, China-EU relations have gradually trended toward diversity, maturity, and closeness, with distinctive features of being strategic, comprehensive, innovative, and stable. On 14 September 2020, an agreement on the China-EU geographical indication was signed, which protects 100 iconic European and 100 Chinese agri-food names against imitation and usurpation, bringing mutual trade benefits and introducing consumers to guaranteed authentic products from two regions with a rich culinary and cultural tradition. The EU-China bilateral agreement on geographical indications entered into force on March the 1st, and in the course of the next 4 years, the agreement should expand to cover an additional 350 GI names from both sides. At the end of the last year, President Xi Jinping and European leaders jointly announced the conclusion of negotiations on a China-EU investment agreement, elevating China-EU relations and practical cooperation to a new level. For mutual investment, the agreement means wider market access, better business environment, stronger institutional guarantee, and brighter prospect for cooperation. In the face of crises and challenges, Europe-China relations have demonstrated resilience and vitality, sending out a positive message to the world. China and Europe are two important players in this multipolar world. Therefore, it is important to maintain political dialogue and jointly tackle global challenges, strengthen international efforts on pandemic response, economic recovery, and climate change, and add more stability to international relations. China is an important player in the global fight against climate change, without which the world cannot win this fight. Therefore, President Xi Jinping's statement in September 2020 that China will strengthen its 2030 climate target, peak emissions before 2030, and aim to achieve carbon neutrality before 2060, met with positive reactions in the EU and worldwide. Undoubtedly, China is a key partner for European Union with regard to tackling climate change and global environmental challenges through promotion of a circular economy and climate-resilient investments, decarbonization of economy, and preservation of biodiversity and the environment. Specifically, the EU aims to work together with China to establish or deepen cooperation in areas such as clean energy, renewable energy, and energy efficiency, carbon markets, low-carbon cities, and hydrofluorocarbons. It is commendable that China's response to COVID-19 includes elements of green recovery, and support policies that redirect China on a low-carbon trajectory. Let me at least mention the measures to speed up the transition to digital economy, the recent launch of National Carbon Market, the promotion of renewable energy systems and electric vehicles, and so on. Today, China is perceived as a trendsetter in the fields such as e-commerce, financial technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics. China's success story shows that digitization is a global process, providing many opportunities for win-win cooperation between China and the European Union. Chinese developed technologies and innovations are being increasingly adopted in Europe. For example, the quick response of QR code and mobile payments are fast becoming the norm in the European Union. As you probably know, the European Union aims to become climate neutral by 2050. In Europe, we believe that sustainable development goes hand in hand with digital transformation, and that's why we are trying to use the potential of digital transformation to achieve the goals of the European Green Deal. These twin transitions, ecological and digital, to a more economically, environmentally, and socially sustainable Europe will affect every part of European economy, society, and industry. As digital technology has played a critical role in facilitating pandemic prevention, in resuming and in expansion of consumption, in the post-pandemic era, digital technology will empower new products, new services, new forms of business, and new business models in various industries such as education, healthcare, and smart homing sectors. It is well recognized that digital transformation and connectivity will be key for the development of more innovative, interconnected, and efficient economies and societies in recovering from the COVID-19 crisis for years to come. Digitalization will be essential for the competitiveness, economic development, cohesion, and security. The fourth industrial revolution, e-government, e-commerce, e-globalization, data sharing, and robust cybersecurity will be only attainable by promoting the use of digital technologies like cloud, big data, artificial intelligence, IoT, and 5G. Finally, let me express my desire for the digital transformation to become the new driving force of the European Union and China in the transition to digital and green economy. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ambassador Dushanbella. And next, we'll give the floor to Mr. Zhai Qian, Director of the European Department of Ministry of Commerce. Honorable Mayor Wang, Honorable Vice President Ke, and Honorable Party Member Madame Liu, dear entrepreneurs and friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to come to Chengdu, the land of abundance, in September to attend the 16th China-EU Business and Technology Cooperation Fair. Since its inception in Chengdu in 2006, it has become an important platform to deepen the China-EU cooperation and seek for openness and a win-win situation. Today, representatives of Chinese and European entrepreneurs gather together to seek common development and to inject more positive energy into EU-China economic trade relations and make a new contribution to the recovery and development of the world economy. Facing the change of the past century and the epidemic, China-EU economic and trade cooperation has grown against the epidemic, showing great resilience and vitality, handing over very satisfactory contribution. I would like to take this opportunity to share some views. First, political leadership has always been a solid guarantee for China-EU cooperation. Since the beginning of this year, President Xi Jinping has held meetings with leaders from European countries such as France, Germany, Italy, and China ECEC Leaders Summit has been successfully held. Frequent high-level exchange have consolidated the strategic mutual trust and condensed cooperation consensus. And thanks to strong promotion of leaders of both sides, the China-EU Comprehensive Agreement on Investment Negotiation was completed, and the China-EU Geographic Indication Agreement came to effect in March this year. Second, mutual benefit and win-win has always been the main tone of the China-EU cooperation. The economic of China and the Europe are highly complementary. In recent years, the depth and the breadth of bilateral economic and trade exchange has been continuously expanded. From January to August this year, China-EU trade increased by 32.4%, and the annual trade volume has expanded to exceed $700 billion USD. And in the same period, the number of trains in China and Europe exceeded 10,000, an increase of 32%. In the first 7 months of the year, China's investment in EU and Europe, direct in China increased by 86.1% and 10.9%. Third, openness has always been a source of China-EU cooperation. In recent years, China has taken the initiative to expand imports, greatly relax market access, reduce the negative list of foreign investment access, improve the foreign investment legal system, continues to build open platforms such as free trade pilot zones and free trade ports. At present, China is speeding up the construction of a new development pattern of domestic international double circulation and mutual promotion, which will make China as the largest market with population of 1.4 billion people. Dear friends, facing the future, China will implement the 14th five-year plan and promote high-quality development in all directions. EU will accelerate the post-epidemic recovery and accelerate the green and digital transformation. We all have a broad visions, and there are a lot of opportunities. The future is also promising for us. Chengdu is a gateway hub of Western regions opening up a cooperation, which has foundation, resources, and potential for the great events. And it can play a great role in economic and trade cooperation with Europe with the help of a high-quality platforms such as the EU-China Business and Cooperation Fair. The EU Department of Ministry of Commerce will continue to provide good service to China-European enterprises and willing to work with local governments and institutions across the sectors and to write a new chapter of the development of China-EU economic trade relations. Finally, I wish the conference a complete success. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General Zhai Qian's remarks. Next, let's hand over the microphone to Ms. Liu Yuli, the Counselor of the European Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China. Honorable Kang Liangdong, the Vice Chairman of the CCPIT, Honorable Madame Liu Xiaoliu, the Member of the Standing Committee of the CPC Chengdu Municipal Committee, Honorable Ambassador Dusan Bella, Honorable Vice President of the EUCC, Mr. Massimo, honorable friends from online and offline, ladies and gentlemen and friends. I felt very pleasure to attend the 16th EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair. The Chinese people always like to describe the 16 years with the season of the flower, because this is an age indicates the people become gradually matures, just like the mentioned before by the Vice Chairman, Mr. Ke, with the joint efforts of the China and the EU. The European Fair has developed into one of the investment, trade, and technological innovation cooperation events with the largest participation of the EU member states, the widest participation of the European enterprises, and the largest exchange between the China and the EU. And it has played an increasingly important role in promoting the industrialization and the internationalization of the Western enterprises, promoting the economic and the technological exchanges of cooperation among the nations. Through the platform of the EU Cooperation Fair, China and the European sides has conducted a number of cooperation projects featuring the complementarity, advantage, and the mutual benefits, which bringing the tangible benefits to the people of the both sides. In the year of 2020, China-EU trade went against the trend, and China has become the largest trading partner of the European Union for the first time. And as we know, pooled conference, you're not only the builder and of the cooperation of the EU and China, and in the same time, you're also the contributor and the beneficiary of the developing cooperation of the China and the EU. I'd like to greatly congratulate the great outcome and the benefits of the fair. The Chinese people are liking to describe the 16 years old as the flowering season, because the flowering season indicates that we are keeping pace with the times and quite progressive. In the year of 2020, China and the EU signed agreements on the geographical indications and established the two high-level, premier level dialogue mechanism, and which namely the green and the digital, which opens up a new field for the China-EU cooperation. We are hoping the experts and the participants for this fair to put the wisdom and the rich consensus and strengthen the connection between the Belt and the Road Initiative, and to further enhance the EU-Asia interconnection strategy and explore the connection between the digital China and the EU Digital New Deal, and push forward the deepening implementation of the EU-China Green Partnership. We are hoping that the business communities from both sides will give the full play to their respective resources advantages and jointly cultivate new opportunities for cooperation and turn the consensus into the concrete cooperation projects and work together to promote more fruitful results in China-EU investment, trade, and science and technology cooperation. The Chinese people liking to use the flowering season to describe the age of 16 years old, because it has indicated it's bearing the hope. Thanks to the joint efforts of both sides, the economies of China and the EU have been deeply integrated today. It can be said that both sides are important development opportunities and partners for each other. China always attached great importance to the development and cooperation with European side, and will continue to work for the mutually beneficial cooperation with European side on the basis of mutual respect. At present, the global economic recovery has a long way to go, and China and the EU need the sincere cooperation more than ever. China encourages and will continue to expand the China-EU cooperation, supports enterprises of both sides to strengthen the dialogue and cooperation, and welcome the European enterprises to continue to actively invest and operate in China. Just like President Xi Jinping pointed out, that China and Europe should be the two major markets to promote the global development and prosperity. The fair is one of the very important platforms for the realizing this very wonderful vision for the continuous development of China and EU cooperation. We have every reason to believe that this fair will uphold the spirit of openness and the pragmatic spirit and contribute to the healthy and stable development of the China-EU relations. I like to wish the great success of the fair. I also like to wish you the best luck of the Mid-Autumn Festival. Thank you for your listening.
Thanks to Councillor Madame Liu. Next, let's welcome Mr. Feng Zhongping, Director of European Studies of Institute of Chinese Academy of Social Science, to deliver a speech. Honorable Mayor Wang, Honorable Vice Chairperson Ke, the honorable leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely thank the invitation of Chinese International Chamber of Commerce, and I congratulate the successful holding of EU-China Business and Technology Cooperation Fair. Chinese Academy of Social Science is a high-level institute of research, and we have the mission to introduce China to the outside world and study and I would like to share some of my views regarding the China-EU relations. The COVID-19 epidemic has exerted serious negative impact on the global political, economic, and social order. And despite the influence and interference of the epidemic in other aspects, China-EU bilateral relations have shown a strong resilience. Leaders of both sides overcame the difficulties caused by the epidemic and maintained communication. Bilateral trade volume continued to grow steadily. And this just now we have a very good presentation about this. In 2020, China surpassed the United States and became the largest trading partner or trade partner of EU for the first time, while EU also maintain its position as one of the China's largest trading partners. And that is after 40 years of opening up and reform, China and the EU has become each other's largest trading partner for the first time. And because of the uniqueness of EU, China's relations with Europe and the EU are also very unique. And the relations between the two sides is not only reflected in the bilateral level between China and Euro countries, but we also have the ambassador from Slovak and also some other delegates. Our relations with EU and European is not only national but also regional. For example, we also have relations with the Central Eastern Europe and also in the supranational institutes such as the EU Commission, EU Parliament, and the EU Central Bank. And this is what discrepant from the relations between China and other regions and the countries. So the relation structure is complex and multifaceted, which requires us to make a comprehensive analysis while observing the relations. Whether promoting China-EU cooperation or coping with or resolving conflicts and contradictions between China and Europe, it's necessary to realize the comprehensiveness and complexity of China-EU relations. For a long time, China-EU relations has been characterized by stability, pragmatism, and a low key. The two sides has carried out long-term cooperation in the fields of economy, trade, investment, science and technology, and climate change, and we have achieved enormous progress. However, in recent years, the situation and characteristics of EU-China relations are changing. On the one hand, just now I mentioned that the China-EU relations remain low-key. In recent years, the EU has revised the orientation of its relations with China in a high-profile manner, treating China not only as a negotiating and a cooperative partner, but also as an economic competitor and as an institutional opponent, and has promulgated laws and policy measures focusing on preventing China, such as the regulation, examination of foreign direct investment in the EU. At the same time, EU's attitude towards China began to get tough. on grounds of so-called human rights and democracy, repeatedly attacked China on major issues involving Xinjiang, Hong Kong, and South China Sea, which has a negative impact on the mutual trust and cooperation between China and EU. In March this year, the EU announced sanctions against some of Chinese entities and individuals on the grounds of so-called Xinjiang issue. In May, the European Parliament announced that it would freeze the examination and approval procedure of China-EU Comprehensive Investment Agreement. The above trends not only the result of changes in the EU's view of China, but also reflect foreign policies of EU countries being influenced by some external forces, especially the United States. The main purpose of Biden's visit to Europe in June this year was to continue U.S. and European policies towards China. From EU's point of view, China can no longer be regarded as a developing country. At the same time, EU also believes the impact of China's development on Europe has also changed. The balance between opportunities and challenges has been broken. So during the Biden's visits to Europe, the joint communique issued by NATO even regard China as a big challenge. According to NATO communique, China's open goal and the tough action pose a systematic change to the rule-based international order and areas related to alliance security. Despite the above twists and turns and challenges of China-EU relations, the relations are still resilient, which is mainly reflected in the threefold. First, Europe's position in China has kept a distance from that of the United States. EU is unwilling to isolate and contain China together with the United States and opposes attempts to decouple from China's economy. Second, EU advocates maintaining contact with China, cooperating and competing economically, while in dealing with the global challenges such as climate change, emphasize the necessity of cooperation with China. Just the Slovak ambassador has emphasized that they need China to deal with the comprehensive challenges. Third, China's relations with Central and Eastern Europe countries have always been an important part of the China-EU relations, although some of the countries' position has changed. Central and Eastern Europe countries generally remain positive about maintaining cooperation with China, and the influence on China-EU relations is increasing. So at present, China's relations with Central and Eastern European countries has created a growth point. And so at present, Europe plays a key role in trilateral relations between China, United States, and Europe. And interaction among the three will also have an important impact on the global strategic pattern. Therefore, we should actively promote China-Europe cooperation so as to maintain and drive the steady development of the relations and contribute to the peace and stability of the international community. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Feng's remarks. Next, let's give floor to Mr. Massimo, the Vice President of the EU CCC. Mr. Massimo, the floor is yours.
Distinguished Mayor Wang, Vice Chairman Ke, Ambassador Bella, Vice Mayor Liu, honorable official, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my great pleasure to be here today at the 16th EU-China Business and Technology Fair, and I would like also to extend my warm greeting to the Ambassador Zhang in Europe as a great and close friend of our chamber along these years. I would like to thank the China Chamber of International Commerce for hosting this session with us, and I would like to thank, obviously, the Chengdu High-Tech Development Zone to host us today in this building. Today is my first time to attend to this event, and I am glad to be here representing the European Union Chamber of Commerce as National Vice President, as well as in my recently new position of Chairman of Southwest China. The European Chamber has been the main organizer of the EU-China Fair for the past few years, and we are delighted to continue to play a positive role building bridge between the European business community and Chengdu government. The European Chamber is pleased to have the opportunity to share our mission with you today, a mission which is focused on open, fair, and competitive market environment with a level playing field for all the industry in China. Digitalization already plays an important role in the economic and social development of both Europe and China, and the role will only become more and more significant. Hyperconnectivity of economic makes innovation flourish. For example, we have observed that many previously traditional sectors, such as retail or financial service, have successfully transformed their business model to adapt to a benefit from a digital revolution. EU companies are among the earliest and largest investors in China and being committed to China process of digitalization. The European business community has always been attracted to China as a destination for innovation and recognized the breakthroughs that have been made, such as in the area of digital payments. Large as the Chinese economy already is, we see that there is still an enormous growth potential, particularly as China transition towards more high-end manufacturing and his economy shift away from being export-oriented to one more driven by domestic consumption. Our chamber every year runs a business confidence survey which collects the impression, the mood of our member. And last survey state that 2/3 of our members are optimistic about the profitability in China over the next 2 years. And many members are looking to invest more in China with the right condition in terms of market access and a more transparent and predictable business environment. So we are here to discuss about more activity, to discuss about more cooperation, and we still have a challenge that we have to chase together. The 14th five-year plan already emphasized the importance of China technological development. Within the 5-year plan, we see that there will be an increased effort to attract foreign capital while promoting the opening up of business in the field of telecommunication. We recommend that foreign companies will be allowed to take part in all the business area together with domestic companies in order to foster a more competitive environment, which is the key of innovation. We also see increasing importance being placed on the upgrading and interaction of standards and the conversion and application of international standards. And to achieve this, we recommend more focus to be placed in the harmonization with the international standard, as well as the easing of foreign companies' access to standardization body in China. Finally, we need to ensure that data governance does not unduly prevent the digital economy from bringing the innovative products and services that consumers are demanding. EU-China should also deepen engagement in other areas which were mentioned also before. Climate change, biodiversity remain a very important topic. Geographical indicators, as we mentioned, we had a very important event yesterday. Nevertheless, China's commitment to be carbon neutral by 2060 is especially welcome, and the European companies are already ahead the curve, since we have the same target in Europe by 2050. The scale of this challenge means China simply cannot achieve it alone. Local governments face challenging scenarios and have no perspective which impose to overcome the traditional development model in new one. Bare technology implementation cannot guarantee achievement expected, and we need to apply an holistic approach with comprehensive strategies which harmonize all the components. The 15 5-year plan addressed decarbonization path across all its components, involving energy, but also new economic models, circular economy, people behavior, government proposition, education, design, and practices. The result will be also a new model to attract foreign investment, to invest by the meaning of creation of new energy, mobility, waste, water, building solution, which will be beneficial to reach carbon neutrality target, as well as to create a better living environment for the community. And last but not least, also to increase job expectation and tax revenue. Then 2060 seems to be far away, but in reality, we don't have time to lose. We should start now, and the first step should be to understand what carbon neutrality means, to collect clear data about the carbon footprint. The European Chamber nowadays counts almost 1,800 members around China, and the Southwest China chapter is the chapter with the fastest growth, and we reach almost 200 members. Ultimately, we pay deep attention to the Chengdu-Chongqing economic circle as a national strategy, which will create more opportunity for cooperation and which allow to Chengdu to position themselves even better than today. In 2020, the European business constituted 22% of Chengdu foreign trade, making the European Union as Chengdu top foreign traded partner. 70% of our members are located in Chengdu, and 23% of the Southwest China Chapters 1 are based in Chengdu high-tech zone. Therefore, as a European Chamber, we sign a 5-year MOU with the Chengdu high-tech zone, and we are planning other short-term concrete cooperation to better serve our member and closer cooperate with the high-tech zone. We therefore hope that the European Chamber of our company can be engaged since the earlier stage of the drafting of the policy of the Chengdu-Chongqing economic circle, since it will help to work together and tailor-made policy which can be suitable for a better investment in your area. To conclude, the European Chamber support an open, fair, and competitive market, which allow a global technological ecosystem and provide level playing field for all the industry players. We do believe that innovation can only thrive through international cooperation and exchange with companies that have diverse teams fairly competing. Chengdu has already the right foundation to become a worldwide center for innovation and technological development. And the European Chamber believes that by allowing more high-quality European investment, this process can be accelerated. Decarbonization is a positive and timely topic to deepen the EU-China cooperation. Our member has much to offer in terms of equipment, technology, services, and we do believe we can play an integral part in China to achieve this goal. To conclude, I would like to remark that our members, our company, are in China for China. Last January, we released a report about decoupling, and less than 10% of our members declared that they were ready to leave China. It means that our companies are organizing locally to be self-sufficient in China, to have a local supply chain, and to be competitive in this market for a long term. I would like to thank again all the authority and the organizer, and I wish to the conference and fair a great success. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Vice President Massimo. Ladies and distinguished guests, next we'll move to the launching ceremony of the 16th China-EU Business and Technology Cooperation Fair. And let's welcome Ambassador Dushambela, Vice President Massimo, Vice Chairperson Ke Liangdong, Mayor Wang Fengchang, and Director Zhang Qian and Councillor Liu Yuli, and Director Feng Zhongping to launch this fair. Please put your right hand on the screen to launch the 16th China-EU Business and Technology Cooperation Fair. Thank you for the leaders and distinguished guests. That concludes the opening ceremony. Thank you.
「尊敬的各位来宾，本次会议即将开始，将手机等通讯设备关闭或置于静音状态。谢谢您的合作。
Ladies and gentlemen, the event will begin shortly. We would like to remind you again to switch off all mobile phones and put electronic devices to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation.
尊敬的各位来宾，本次会议即将开始，将手机等通讯设备关闭或置于静音状态。谢谢您的合作。
Ladies and gentlemen, the event will begin shortly. We would like to remind you again to switch off all mobile phones and put electronic devices to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation.
各位来宾，中欧数字经济与时代发展。
Delegates, we're about to start our plenary session. Please be seated.
The summit on EU-China cooperation in the era of digital economy is about to begin. Please take your seat. Thank you. 各位来宾，中欧数字经济与时代发展高峰论坛即将开始。现在有请中国国际商会副秘书长张毅女士主持。Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
没有老外是吧？
大家好。
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The world is facing the transitioning of the digitalization, especially in the post-pandemic era, in the process of the reshaping of the economy. The countries are speeding up the layout of the digital economy. The digital economy has become a very important force for the government to reshape and to redevelop. How to seize the opportunity and how to build a safer environment is going to be quite a common problem for concerned by the EU and the Chinese side. We'd like to invite the executives from the EU and the Chinese sides. The first is Mr. Li Ruicheng, the Vice President of SAP, and Madame Wang Jie, the Vice President of the Schneider Electric China. And Mr. Zhang Heping, the head of the Sanofi Pasteur Greater China. And then Madame Lan Zhenzhen, the Vice President of the North Asia and China of the L'Oreal. And Mr. Jia Ziqi, the Director of the EU SME Center. And Mr. Wang Zhisheng, the Vice President of the EU CCC. Welcome. My name is Zhang Yi with the CCOSA. I felt very honored to be the moderator for this session to jointly discuss about the digital economy of the European countries and China. And for the formality of our conference, revolving around the opportunity and the challenge of the EU and the China development. And the honorable delegates, you can express your opinions based on your experience. And then we have several topics to have the further discussion. The social digitization started from the enterprises, especially the SMEs. The SAP is the world's largest enterprise management and coordinated solution providers committed to providing the solutions to the enterprises with different sizes to achieve the digital transition. Almost 80% of the data are from the SMEs. The SAP entered into China in the year of 1995, and the SAP has facilitated many Chinese enterprises to achieve the digital transitioning. Now let's give floor to Dr. Li to share with us from the perspective of the digital transitioning. Thank you. Thank you, leaders, guests, ladies and gentlemen. I felt very delighted to be here, to be in the beautiful city of Chengdu, to share with you about SAP, the practice and the thoughts regarding the digital transitioning. We have about 6,000 employees, and we have facilitated thousands of companies to successfully fulfill the digital transition. With regard to the digital transition, the moderator is hoping that every panelist to share with you with several slides to share with you about our thoughts. Our opinion is to embrace the digitization and to embark the path towards the digital economy and digital company. I like to elaborate. The first and foremost, let's take a look. When it comes to the digital transitioning, from the perspective of history, what about our positioning? And what about the trend of the era? And only by means of understanding that, then we can come to the core of the digital transitioning. We're going to have a better understanding as well. And from this slide, can you see the slide? Yes. In the past, the human beings have been experienced, including the the industrialization 3.0, from the industry automation to the informatization to the digital transitioning at the different stage. It has had a very important technological break. When it comes to the industry automation, it has represented the transistor and a wide range of application of the large-sized computer. And in the year of 1990s, as we know, with the application of the digitization and the cloud computing, and the technological revolution has heralds the digital transition. As a researcher of the industry, so what's next? With the advent and the breakthrough of the AI, includes the blockchain, the IoT, and the Internet of Everything. So what is the next trend? We believe that the next trend is the transitioning from the digital economy to the smart economy. SAP as a research institutions, we are quite insightful, and the products we are researching and working on is to adapt to the advent of the digital economy. It will call for the participation of the digital economy. Yes, a large number of the smart enterprise decision making will be processed by the computers. Some guys may doubt that we haven't accomplished the digitization or the digital transition. I don't think you need to be very nervous, because this is quite a mixed picture. And next, from another angle, how can we foster the intelligent enterprise? Is that possible for us to directly jump from the informatization to the smart enterprises? This is not supposed to be a step-by-step process. Based on your own features and your own business application scenario, you can achieve the leapfrog directly from the digitization to the smart enterprise. Then I like to touch upon the era trend. Many people are asking that we have so many data relating to the digital transitioning, and it doesn't generate a large amount of value for the enterprise. But the problem is about the judgment about the trend. We believe that there are 6 major trends. Let's skip over the technology. The first is the hyperconnectivity. With the advent and the fast development of the IoT, it will connect the people, community, and the business practice. It will give birth to many modes of business. The second is supercomputing. It's not about the quantum computing. The quantum computing will be applied after the 2035. I like to stress the supercomputing, which will quickly enable the AI technology to be more practical and more profitable. The third trend is cloud computing. The fourth is the smart world. In the future, we are going to be dominated and surrounded by the smart products, smart solutions, and the smart world is advancing in a quick manner. And number 5 trend is the digital twin, or the digital which has enabling the combination of the reality and the virtual world. Then the trend 6 is the internet security, with revolving around these 6 major trends. You are going to have a clear understanding about the future directions. Be it the SMEs, be it the major player, it will give rise to the 3 revolutionary change. Like, firstly, you are going to redefine the business mode, like the Alibaba, like the Amazon, all of which contributed to the transformation of the business mode. The second is the business procedures. The flow chart of the business will be redefined, especially with the application of the AI. It's going to make this process to be more effective and more simplified. It's going to greatly replace the role of the human beings. Some of our products we produced in Shanghai is quite forward-looking. And the third is that it's going to redefine the job. And now, as we know, we're having the organizing structure of the CEO at the top level and the other executives at the middle level, but I don't think it adapts to the advance of the digital economy. This kind of structure with the wide range of application of the AI and the digitalization is going to be a dumbbell-shaped organization structure. It's going to be flatter, and the executives and the managers will be disappeared. And in addition, it will also affect the way of our working. Maybe we are not only work in one company, maybe we as a worker worked for several different companies. So we have the 3 changes and the 6 major trends. I like to ignore the features of the digitization, and I like to say a few words about platforms of features of the digital economy. And from the angle of the SAP, based on our judgments for the trend, in the post-digital era, with the advent of the smart and AI, what kind of solution can we provide to facilitate Chinese enterprises to build more intelligent and more AI-oriented? So this is going to be all-around a solution. Due to the time constraint, I don't have too much time to elaborate. Now we are working on the smart solutions. Thank you for your listening. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your professional and forward-looking presentation. I think the 6 change and the 3 changes is very important for the forward-looking view for all the enterprises, and it's very enlightening. And I have statistics here. In 2020, it is estimated that the scale of digital economic added value of 47 countries will reach 32.6 trillion USD, nominal increase of 3% year, accounting for 43.7% of GDP. Among which Germany, Japan, and Britain rank 3rd to 5th, while China ranked 2nd. And so, will digital economy continue to drive the sustainable development of the whole society in the future? Where is the direction for the future? Schneider Electric, a global leader of energy efficiency management, entered China in 1987 and plays a leading role in the market of energy and infrastructure. And it creates the value of green energy efficiency. So let's listen to Madame Wang Jie to share with us her view. Thank you, moderator. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to come to Chengdu to share with you the changes that will be brought by the digitalization in the future. So there's some problem with the slides. Okay. And today, I will briefly share with you the digitalization facilitating the target of the double carbon. And firstly is about our current environment and the pressing need of the climate change. And we know that if we do not take any actions, and then we would not at all talk about the target of a 1.2 degree, and now we are working towards the direction of a 3.1 to 3.5 degrees centigrade. We know that we have set a target of carbon neutrality and carbon peak in 2030 and 2060, so what role can digitalization and clean energy play in this agenda? That it is essential. It can improve the efficiency of the enterprises and cut emission, and to enhance the resilience of the enterprises in order to deal with the problems emerged in the operation, and in order to sustain its development in a long-term perspective. So from our perspective, we think that the digitalization could promote the integration in 4 dimensions and enhancing the efficiency. The first is the energy and automation. The integration through the tool of automation, we could enable the automation of energy management, which can make the most out of the new renewable energy. And new energy could cut the emission and increase the efficiency of the enterprise. And the second integration is from end to cloud. We know that everything is connected nowadays, and all the ends are connected. And through connectivity to cloud, we could form connected network, and then through artificial intelligence, we could ensure high efficiency for the operation of the company. And the third is that to make use of the digitalization tool to ensure the integration between design and construction, together with the operation and maintenance. We know that the design and then construction is not connected currently, and let alone the operation and maintenance. And so if we can integrate these 2 aspects together, it will improve the efficiency. And the fourth is this distributed management and centralized corporate management. And in the future, we will offer comprehensive management of the whole group. In the past, for example, the hotels managed and operated individually, but in the future, they will manage and in a group pattern. So we think that the digitalization will promote the integration of the 4 dimension. And there's several examples. For example, this is a Sanning chemical industry company in Hubei province, and this chemical industrial company is in the industry of high energy consumption. So we are made aware of the digitalization, and through the technology of automation and our software platform, we help the enterprise to ensure and to realize the full dimensional integration, and we decrease cut the energy consumption by 5% and enhance the production efficiency by 30%. And because they could not, and from the OTS training and the 3D modeling and VR system, if the employees can receive the training of the equipment at home. And the second is through the green energy management, we enable the low carbon, high efficiency building. And we know Taikoo is a very renowned company of real estate. They also have a property in Chengdu, and they hope that through the digitalization, they could be able to design the carbon peak and the carbon emission target, and it could also improve the management efficiency. So through technology, we assist them in collecting collecting data from over 20,000 branches, and which enable the integrated management of the hospitality group. And also we help them with designing the target of a carbon peak, and then through the connectivity and digitalization, 80% of the downtime and problems will be solved with the digitalization and tool, and we could anticipate and we can solve the issue on time. And the third is zero carbon park, industrial park in Europe. So we could so we make a demonstration there to build the zero carbon industrial park. For example, the network and also the commissioning of on the demand side, and then we have ensured the zero carbon of the industrial park in Europe, and all the buildings inside the park were accredited the LEED, which is a very authoritative accreditation in terms of architecture. And next is from we have a 5-year plan from 2021 to 2025, and we could see that we have a lot of commitment in terms of dealing with climate change and high efficiency use of energy. And we also help our suppliers to decrease the carbon emission by 50%. So there are a lot of commitment in this perspective. This is our responsibility, and this is our demonstration, and this is our contribution to the carbon neutrality. And we have also a commitment of carbon neutrality in our enterprises. We have to reach the end-to-end supply chains carbon neutral by 2050. This is for the Schneider Group, our future strategic goal for the future. But we also need partners to achieve this, and we need the support from the government, and we need a government platform and the support of the R&D Center, and cooperate with different enterprises, including associations. With the joint efforts, we could achieve this goal. Thank you.
Thank you for Madame Wang's sharing. And Madame Wang shared with us about the digitization to improve the efficiency and realize the digitization and green development. And I think in doing so, it's going to be quite beneficial for our enterprises as well. The digital technology has ushered in a very profound change, especially during the pandemic. The digital technology has played a very big role in the area of public health. The Sanofi, the Pasteur, is the world's largest human-induced vaccines. Entered into the Chinese market in the 1991, and is the foreign pharmacy company to build the plant in China. And now let's give floor to Mr. Zhang. He's going to touch upon the application of the digital economy in the public health sector. Thank you, moderator. Yes, the very unexpected outbreak of pandemic COVID-19 has resulted in the profound change of our work and life. We have been connected with the internet all the time, and the vaccine has enabled us to go from online to offline. And actually, as we know, the digitization has a very deep and very important role in the field of the public health. It has covered the links of the production, transportation, logistics, and application. And in the due process, the Pasteur of the Sanofi has a lot of explorations as well. In addition to having our own plant, we are hoping to have more vaccines to be introduced into the Chinese market in the year of 2019. During witnessed by the top leaders of the France and China. We have signed agreements of the innovation agreements of the China-France innovation, which has covered the digital innovation, and specifically we are going to build integrated solutions of the digital health in Shenzhen. And next month, we'll witness the opening of the International Vaccine Innovation Center in Shenzhen. And we'd like to display a series of the digital solutions regarding the vaccines. For instance, when the vaccination aims at prevention of the pandemics, but on the way to the vaccinations and in the process of vaccination, we are in the environment of very crowded people. So how to minimize the infections? I think in this regard, the digitization has played a very significant role. Our innovation center will demonstrate and showcased unmanned, the facial recognition, online register, and the institute confirmation until the doing the jobs are all man-free, automatically processed. It's going to be enabling our public health procedures are going to be more effective and efficient. In addition, yes, of course, in the year of 2020, during the Import Expo and in the 2021 Import Expo, we also demonstrated some of our plans. Yes, in the scenario of vaccination, last year witnessed the launching of the unmanned vaccination hub, and be it the efficiency, be it to avoid the cross-contamination, it's going to be quite helpful. Last year we have displayed the conceptual model, but this year witnessed the launching of the unmanned vaccination hub, which is available based on the centennial experience of producing the vaccines. Yes, I think the Chinese innovation environment is really great. After showcasing this idea, many companies are looking forward to collaborating with us. And immediately, as small company is looking to us for help. And several months later, they have produced a prototype of this hub. And it just only took a few months. We like to demonstrate it, and we're going to demonstrate it during the 2021 Import Expo. And if you sit in the hub and you place your arms inside, and the vaccination will be accomplished immediately. All the process will be digitally processed. And next, the very important role of the digitization in terms of the public health. Yes, the green QR code is quite a vivid illustration of digitization. And for the overall prevention and control of the pandemic, from the data capturing, surveillance, response, it will call for the very large-sized systems as well. And from the year of 2020, picture of our 2020 Imports Expo, we have showcased one of our integrated solution. We together with our partners to integrate into one solution. It has covered the data from the pharmacies, drugstores, hospitals. If it has reached a threshold, it will initiate the level 1 response, level 2 response, and level 3 response. It will provide the references for our medical and public health authorities so as to better protect the greater crowd. It has become a research topic approved by the Ministry of Science and Technology of China. And it has been piloted in many cities across China. And we're hoping to form a solution as well. Yes, it is sure that the digitization in the public health has become a very significant solution provider. Solutions is, of course, it cannot be only accomplished by the Sanofi and the Pasteur. We are looking forward to the cross-border, cross-boundary, and to establish the public health eco cycle and to facilitate the construction of the healthy China. Yes, the digitization of the public health is closely linked with almost everybody, and we really express our deep concern as well. We are hoping that guided by the Sanofi, this digitized vaccination hub will be put in place across China.
Digital economy is everywhere. People not only use digital technology, but is also living within the context of digitalization. The virtual makeup, smart retail, and live e-commerce, which are accompanied by the rise of new technology, have completely changed our consumption pattern. L'Oreal is the largest cosmetic group in the world, and not only the dozen of its brand sell, but it's also transformed from beauty company to a beauty technology company. And now we invite Director Lan to share with us how do they, what's their take on the opportunities of digital economy. Thank you for your introduction. As a representative of L'Oreal, and I'm very honored to be here and to attend the fair, and also very honored to attend this forum. I also have a complex. I'm from Chengdu. I'm a local Chengdu people, so I'm very pleased to see the development of Chengdu. I'm very proud of Chengdu. And also, among all the guests speaker, I'm the only FMG company. So I'll talk about digitalization from the perspective of consumption company. So to talk about the influence to people's life, and L'Oreal as the biggest cosmetic group in the world, we have been committed to promoting the EU-China cooperation. And since we entered China 20 years ago, we have witnessed the changes taking place in Chinese market, and we have witnessed the changes brought by the digitalization to people's life, and upon the epidemic, we could also see that digitalization is accelerating worldwide. So digitalization is a very important topic, and it has also become an engine for the economic recovery of the economies worldwide. So how to ensure the digitalization transformation and how to innovate digitalization. The development. And the first is the digitalization. We would like to see if there's any opportunities for the application of digitalized technology in the consumption scenarios to provide customer experience to our consumers. And just the moderator also mentioned that they do not have to go to the shops. They could choose cosmetics online and to do virtual makeup. And so this is the upgrade of consumption, an upgrade of service and experience. And we believe that consumption in the context of digitalization, we have to orient it to the consumers. And the second is we should also have the consensus that to drive for the technology and drive for the digitalization, we also need to protect the privacy, digital privacy, and also the IPv protection. And also it will be instrumental to the inclusive growth and the sustainable growth. And this will be very beneficial for our society and our whole world. And the third is that through digitalization, we would like to achieve the integration of the brand and the platform, consumption company and technology company. And we would like to co-build this ecological circle. And it's from the learning to research to production. This means that we could not only explore some corporations of the ecological circle, also we could avail of the strength of Chinese market, and to promote the innovation global-wise. So in this area, we think that China has a great potential, and also in the area of digitalization, digital innovation, we have also achieved enormous progress, and also we are not a supermarket, but we also promote the innovation global-wise, and we are a strategic hub. Based on this goal, and L'Oreal in the current the global architect, we have reshaped the architect. We have also include the North Asian area, and so in the regional strategy, we center upon China, and we like to inject new impetus into the region. And we're very pleased that during this fair, there will be a lot of corporations and new ideas generated. In September, we also work with the management committee of Chengdu High Tech Zone and Sichuan newspaper group. We will have the first China, EU, Japan, Korea Summit on Fashion Industry Innovation and Development. It's also a sub-forum of the China, EU Business and Technology Cooperation Fair. I also would like to invite all the leaders and distinguished guests to attend this event. We would like to take this opportunity to brief you on our new development in North Asia area. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for Madame Lan's sharings. And we can see the digital economy has permeated almost every aspect of our daily lives. So what about the progress of the digital economy for the European countries? So what about the corporations for the SMEs and China in terms of digital economy? The SME Center of the EU is dedicated to providing the technological solutions and facilitating them to better go into the Chinese market. Now let's give floor to Mr. Jia Ziqi to share with us about the digital development for the SMEs in China. Thank you, moderator. Firstly, I'd like to thank the CCOSA's invitation. Thank you for inviting us to take part in this fair. And I'd like to firstly introduce to you about our institution, the EU SME Center, and founded and established by the EU Commission in the year 2010. Located in China, the project aimed at collecting the market information from China so as to help the SMEs from the EU to better understand the Chinese market and finally get access to Chinese markets. With regard to the digital economy for the SMEs, we have prepared a very short report. I cannot speak very fluent Chinese. I'd like to switch from the Chinese to English. Thank you.
Back to English so that I could better explain myself, especially that part of this report that I will going to share with everybody is a little bit technical, so that it's a language that I'm more comfortable in sharing. So I just introduced the EU SME Center, what we do, who we represent, who we provide our services to. I would first like to start with the importance of SMEs in Europe. Small and medium-sized companies represent the economy in Europe. By saying that, I want to list a few figures, statistics, that in Europe, more than 99.8% of all the enterprises are small and medium-sized companies, are SMEs. Among which 93% of them are micro SMEs. In Europe, there's this definition from 0 to 10 employees, this categorized as micro SMEs, and from 11 to 50 employees are SMEs, medium-sized, small-sized companies, and a company that has from 50 to 250 employees are counted as medium-sized SMEs. The reason why I introduced this definition of SMEs is also connected to digitalization of SMEs, connecting to the level of the status of digitalization of SMEs in Europe. The first fact I would like to share with everyone is that SMEs in digital sector, first of all, has posted stronger value added and employment performances in the past years. One of the observations from the last year's annual digitalization reports of SMEs, of European SMEs, is that more of the micro SMEs are currently focusing on very basic level of digitalization. However, in contrary to that, more of the medium-sized companies are more focusing on acquiring advanced digitalization technologies. That's the first observation. And of course, as shared by already other speakers, the impact of COVID-19 has also give a sort of a boost in the whole digital transformation of small and medium-sized companies. In terms of platforms that support the process of digitalization of European SMEs, in Europe there are, first of all, nationwide supporting schemes. Coming to the next level, there's also national, regional, even within the same country, there are multiple platforms and schemes that actually provide, first of all, the required skills and knowledge, and second of all, also financial support for small and medium-sized companies in accessing to full digitalization, which are considered as two of the main barriers for SMEs to interact with their digitalized activities. And looking at all the member states within the European Union, there is also quite a difference among the level of digitalization of SMEs. Particularly, there are leading member states, for example, Netherlands, for example, Belgium, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Ireland. Those are mostly considered as at the frontiers, as pioneers, as playing leading roles among all member states. However, there are also some other member states that are struggling in achieving an overall strategy for supporting SMEs in this process. And as I introduced, some of the challenges for SMEs in Europe for their digitalization activities lies in the barriers, for example, as access to finance, as the lack of required ICT knowledge and skills. For micro SMEs, who represent the vast majority of SMEs in Europe, one of the biggest challenges they're facing is starting from the awareness. So from this annual report of digitalization, we also noticed that a good number of micro SMEs is of the opinion that digitalization is not useful or necessary, or they believe in the cost has certainly outweighed the benefits in their evaluations. And then we also we're sitting in a panel with many large enterprises like Schneider, like Sanofi, like Olay. These are companies, large multinationals that have much bigger resources comparing to SMEs. Also, when it comes to sufficient fundings, and then the challenges that micro SMEs facing in achieving digitalization is rather evident. Being in China, we have also outlined a few challenges that SMEs with digitalization solutions has been facing in China. If you allow me to introduce these to you, first of all, there are many digitalized SMEs who has already entered the market. However, they're facing challenges scaling up when it comes to the fact that in China, in many sectors, cheap and bulk solutions are still preferred, other than a highly advanced, highly digitalized solutions, which resulted in the fact that there is a lack of adequate financing models, and the economic framework promoting long-term sustainability is also not in place. And secondly, another observation that we collected from SMEs, digitalized SMEs facing challenges they're facing in China, is that the investment of today risks to be based largely on the solutions and challenges of yesterday, meaning that they're not being valued during their lifespan. So this also eventually resulted in the fact that the capacity and competence of the procurers may prove themselves not highly adequate. And thirdly, digitalization, as also introduced by other panelists, might reduce the impact of existing silos, which is considered also as a barrier for efficient digitalization solutions among all the institutions. That's one of the advantages SMEs in China has already witnessed, that applying digitalized solutions will also largely connect all the silos and eventually reduce the inadequate competition among all the digitalized solution providers. Lastly, as also mentioned by other panelists, SMEs being innovative, being digitalized in China requires also a well-established regulatory framework. There we're talking about data collection, about data security. If such frameworks are in place, I believe we have reasons to believe that those SMEs who are already in China on the market will have will have better resources, even if not from internally, but from the whole business environment, from external supports. Would definitely see that benefit as well. I would stop from here in case there are other questions to follow.
Thank you for Mr. Jiang Ziqi's view. The SME in different member states of the EU have their different characteristics of the digitalization. For the enterprises who would like to cooperate with the European enterprises and invest in Europe, we see challenges and opportunities. And first of all, we have to understand that the laws and the protection of personal data. And the European Union Chamber of Commerce represents nearly 1,000 Chinese-funded enterprises in Europe. How to promote the cooperation between the European enterprises in digital economy? I would like to hear Mr. Wang Zhishen's view. First of all, we are very honored to be invited. The European Chamber of Commerce in China as a co-sponsor unit of this fair. Maybe you have a misinterpretation. You may have a misinterpretation of the two different Chamber of Commerce. We have different responsibilities. We all represent the. We are the civil organization established in other countries, and so it's the EU-CCC and the CICCC. So the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, EU-CCC has established for a long time, but our agency is a young agency. We established in 2014, and Prime Minister Li Keqiang actually unveiled our company in Europe. At the same time, we also have some of the members of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and we representing 1,000 Chinese enterprises in Europe. I'll give you a few examples. We know that from the ancient Greek history, we know that there's a harbor is actually operated by a Chinese group, and it has also become a very important intersection for BRI. Also, another electronic company is also controlled by Three Gorges, and also we also have a BYD and the Geely automobile companies, who has a very good prospects in Europe. After establishing in Europe, we are the voice of the Chinese enterprises in Europe. Since 2019, we have organized and issued the development of Chinese enterprises in Europe. We have issued a report and being responded by some of the authorities, and so there's a very good interaction between the civil associations and the government. And in 2020 is a year for us which we plan to do a lot of work, but we encountered the epidemic. And so the first thing I would like to share that digitalization is very instrumental for the development of our Chamber of Commerce. And in early 2020, we have organized a lot of resources and also personal protective equipment to facilitate China. And also in late 2020, we have organized some of the Chinese enterprises to facilitate European society for their fight against the epidemic. So this is a very good interaction. And in the second half of last year, through online sessions, we have promoted the business communication between Chinese and the European enterprises, and we have done a lot more than we expected. And we would like to emphasize in early September, we have China-Europe Digital Business Dialogue, which is very influential in the leaders summit between China, Germany, and Europe. Our president, the leaders, they have raised the concept of digital partnership, and in late September, General Secretary Xi has raised the commitment of carbon peak and carbon neutrality, which also comes from the agenda and the progress moved in the digital partnership between Europe and China. And just now, we heard that the guest speaker said that they make use of the digitalization, a lot of different scenarios. This is very good because we have our perspective strength in different sectors, and so we have to seek. So we could have further discussion in this perspective. In the summit of after the summit of September, under the support of some organizations and our agency, and so we have established a digital working group in order to promote the digital cooperation between China and the EU. And the EU has also issued a series of policies in terms of the digital economy. In early 2021, we have also completed the digital registration in Europe, which means that we could have a better understanding with the laws and legislative process in terms of digital economy, and which means that we have a better dialogue mechanism with the European countries. And the challenges brought by the epidemic actually also promote the digital development and creating a lot of opportunities for our cooperation. The biggest potential is that we have to retain the difference and seek common goal and to promote the common prosperity of the two.
For the 4 panelists, respectively coming from the different fields, we have enterprise working in the field of the enterprise services, such as the delegate from the Schneider. We also have the delegates from the consumption sectors. They are the leaders and the pioneers in terms of the digital era. And now in the professional discussion session, we are looking forward to the very deep and very practical examples. The first is a digital transitioning path for the SMEs. Due to the constraint of the human resources and technology and funds, the SMEs has embarked on quite a slow path regarding the digital transition. They also have a very weak foundation in terms of the networks, and therefore they are not capable of developing a strong resilience towards the risks and the funds inadequacy. Now let's give floor to Dr. Li. Would you like to offer some good suggestions for the SME digitization? It's not about the suggestions. With regard to the SME digitization, I have some thoughts to share with you. What SME, the dilemma for the SME to face is that the first is their lack of funds. The secondly, they do not have the dedicated team is engaged in digital transitioning. Therefore, is that indicated that the SMEs will not choose to digitization? The answer is no. With the COVID-19 approaching, based on our observation, be it SMEs and the big players in the industries before the COVID-19, they have achieved the digitization. They can really enjoy the better performance in the process of the COVID-19 pandemic. They can resort to the online office and online digital solutions to better their performance. It has suggested the very necessary outcomes and the necessity for the digitization for the SMEs. So how can the digitization to be achieved by the SMEs despite of the lack of funds, lack of talent? And I think I have the following recommendations. The first is the SMEs shall be quite pragmatic. They shall focus on their own pain points. In the process of the challenge, they gradually transition to digitization. It sounds quite ordinary, but there are a lot of dilemmas and the problems. We have many SME customers are asking that why can they achieve the digitization? If you look into their overall roadmap, they have come up with quite a big and comprehensive roadmap. It is okay for the big players, but it's not going to be suitable for the SMEs without the support of dedicated staff team and the fundings. The best solution is you shall look at your pain points for your business. Maybe my pain point is about the marketing. Therefore, I will achieve the transitioning in terms of the marketing. If I have the pain point in the manufacturing, I would like to achieve digitization in terms of the manufacturing. If I have the pain point in the human resource management, I will achieve the digitization in terms of the human resource management. So this is my first recommendation. The second recommendation is that We shall not be demagogued by those solution providers. SMEs shall not commit to building their own platforms with the existing mature platforms, and based on the application of the SaaS, and to build a platform is not the undertaking for the SMEs. Even the big players shall be cautious to build their own platform. The third recommendation is that in the process of the transitioning, the SMEs shall pay close attention to the data security. Yes, the data is the very essential, and in the process of the transitioning, how can we safeguard and preserve the integrity of our data? The integrity of the assets includes the privacy security for the every staff, because for the SMEs, they do not have such adequate awareness relating to the data security. Last but not least, as we know, the SME shall take into account more regarding the digitization. So they shall have to come up with step-by-step solutions. They can conduct a frank and the comprehensive communication with some solution providers to make their transitioning better and smooth. Wang Jie, would you like to make more to add? I'd like to add that because we dedicated to the practical application, the Schneider Electrical has been dedicated to serving the SMEs. And I will not to reiterate about the difficulties for the SMEs. And I like to stress that we shall come up with the tailored solutions for each SME. For each SME, we shall come up with a different tailored, customized solution. The second is that a lot of people are arguing about the smart manufacturers and the digital manufacturing. They bought a lot of digital hardwares. But even if you bought a lot of digital hardwares, you do not have the adequate IT staff and the people to manage the digital hardwares. It doesn't make sense at all. Therefore, we shall firstly clarify that shall we improve in terms of the digital transitioning or digital process. And the third recommendation is that to come up with a step-by-step approach, I think it's going to be an incremental process. It shall be a step-by-step process. I'd like to cite an example. For the Jinqiao company, from the Chongqing, which is a company dedicated to manufacturing the automobile spare parts. As we know, there are very fierce competition for the automobile spare parts. And for the Jinqiao, they have no foundation for the digitization. But when we visited the Jinqiao, we are going to help them to streamline their production lines, and we can minimize their ineffective cost and investment for around 3 million. They have purchased many parts, but they have no idea about the demand from the customers. And some of the materials and the spare parts were wasted. And therefore, generally speaking, we help them to minimize the stockpile of the spare parts worth more than 7 million, and we help them to minimize the staff from the 67 to 30. And this is quite a successful case regarding the digital transitioning. Thank you for your wonderful and practical recommendation. The second item is the digital platform establishment. As an individual player, the enterprise shall accomplish this kind of digitization transitioning on a bigger platform, and which is newly built smart city. We have interconnectivity, the data sharing, and information security. How to enable the enterprise to better get involved in the urban construction regarding digitization. The Sanofi had a very wonderful experience. Mr. Zhang, would you like to share with us? Yes, we specialize in the health services. We focused on the public health. Yes, the public health serve the best interest of almost everybody. Let's set an example. our collaboration with Shenzhen municipal government. The Shenzhen municipal government will procure a large number of the influenza vaccines for the vaccination for the elderly people and the young children. And according to WHO, they have the requirement of about the 75% for the vaccination for the elderly people and the younger kids. But in China, we still left behind as well. So how can we support? How can we realize this target? In Shenzhen city, they have the accumulated vaccination of billions of the people regarding the flu vaccines. So how can we enable us to promote the solutions to the cities across China? And therefore constructing the model and to make the joint efforts to analyze. Not long ago, we have figured out some data which are quite surprising. With the vaccination of the flu for the young children. Now, this is not published yet. I cannot go to the details and the specific data. It can minimize the absence rate. It can minimize the escort time for the parents. It can minimize the utilization of the hospital resources. It can minimize the expenditures of the cost for the public transportation. And generally speaking, it's all involved in the strategy of the healthy China. The key for the healthy China is to prevent. We do not have a very complete and comprehensive system to support. On the one hand, we cooperate with some relevant city authorities to establish the specific model, to offer the evidence and the data to make it to be permeated to some other cities as well. And I have mentioned the public warning system featuring the digitization and AI. And yes, we have different warning systems for the pandemics across China. We have quite diffused and distributed data, loosely structured data. So how can we capture data? And during the last year, 2020 Import Expo, even the very famous anchorman Bai Yansong visited us and to interview us. And we cooperate with the School of Public Health of the Xiehe Medical University to, according to our understanding, we can mobilize the resources from home and abroad to trigger the government's demand. And at current stage, we are going to put in place some solutions in the different cities as well. This is my sharing. Thank you, Mr. Zhang. Due to the time constraint, now let's proceed to the next topic, which is the digital economy and the green development. The development of the digital economy has promoted the goal orientation of the green and the low carbon as a whole, but the development of digital economy and the new infrastructure construction does not mean low carbon in absolute sense. The industry's chain of the new generation of the information technology is not only based on the development of the internet technology, but also based on the stable and abundant power and energy security. By the year 2025, the data center services with a high energy consumption will account for the 33% of the global energy consumption. Although the data centers should be located in the places with low electricity consumption and low temperature as far as possible, but the power required for the transmission and operation is quite shocking. We'd like to invite Mr. Li to respond to us. So do you have some good solutions with regard to the high energy consumption due to the big data? This is a very good question. I'd like to draw a different picture. Yes, we have been proposing the concept of digital big data for many years, but we are not quite agree with that concept of the big data. It has enabled misguided many SMEs and enterprises that the more data I leverage, the more profitability I'm going to generate. But it doesn't make sense. In addition to the energy consumption and the equipment procurement, it will not that profitable. big data is not about the big amount of data. Big data is just about the quality of the data. I like to cite an example. You can generate profit from the big data. I like to tell you a story. CEO from a big company told me that we have spent a lot of money on the digital transitioning, but in addition to the increasing of the numbers and data, I didn't figure out the values by the digital transitioning. I like to ask him, what is your pain point? What's your aim for the digital transitioning? The solution providers had established a very huge hyperconnectivity, big networks, and wasted a lot of energy, but it doesn't create value either. Therefore, the big data is not about the big amount of data. It's about the good quality of data, the good structure of data. Next, I'd like to touch upon the green development. From the perception to the practical application, we have integrated solution. We have action plan entitled Climate 21. We're going to provide the solution regarding the carbon emission, carbon management, green trade, green mobility, and green production, which is quite a holistic solution. With the help of such a holistic solution, it will not only enable our companies to minimize their consumption of energy, it will enable them to come up with a new mode of production. As we know, Germany is the initiator for the concept of the Industry 4.0, and the President Xi Jinping also reached a consensus with Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of the Germany. China has introduced the concept and the practice of the digital Industry 4.0 to China. With the help of the Industry 4.0, if we work for the Harley Davidson motorcycle factory, with the application of the AI, with the idea of the Industry 4.0, the production date for producing the Harley Davidson will be reduced from the 21 days to 6 hours. Therefore, with the reduction of the production time will help us to achieve the objective regarding the green mobility, green production, and green energy. I'm hoping that you may have a full consideration about what solution I'm going to make to better transition to the green. Thank you.
Thank you for Dr. Li. I believe that you still want to hear more. We have very professional guest speakers. They have a very good views and providing very good guidance. I think you have learned a lot from their sharing. And I wish that all the guests could make a conclusion of this forum with one sentence. So everyone for one sentence. So starting from Director Wang. And if one sentence, I would like to say that the digital economy is going to be a coordination. It needs ecological circle and policy guidance and support from the government and the international cooperation. And at the same time, it also requires the cooperation between enterprises with enterprises associations and the promotion using the platform such as the fair today. So this is a big ecological circle. And so I'm in the industry of the health service. I wish that the government could promote the vaccination procedure, and we could make joint efforts across the industry and to facilitate for the digitalization. And my sentence is that digitalization transformation is a huge agenda. We need to speed up, and we need to keep up with the time, and we also need to have the standardization to have a good standard in this process that to ensure that we do not waste the resources. then we think that digitalization needs people. It should be people-oriented. Through digitalization, we could make people's life more convenient and comfortable. Therefore, they will also wish that digitalization could substantively change and improve people's livelihood. And China, Europe have their own strengths in terms of digital economy and very complementary. And we hope that the Chamber of Commerce on two sides and the enterprises could co-create this digitalization future. I think that based on EU SME Center, the SME in Europe or in China, the economy in China, it's a trend for the economy, be it in Europe or in China, be it in government or non-government organization, for example, Chamber of Commerce, and from the association to the enterprises, and there will be a lot of room for cooperation. Thank you again for the guest speakers' wonderful sharing. We know that tomorrow is an era of digitalization. We hope that everyone can enjoy the benefits brought by the digitalization. And that concludes the China-Europe Summit Forum on Digital Economy and Development. Thank you.